Hi, I'm Gerald Lucas, and I'm here with my good friend Glen Gallucci. We're both full-time real estate investors, and today we're going to continue our series on real estate investing, and we're going to talk about getting money or financing our real estate deals. So Glen, how do you normally finance your deals? What are the different ways that you can
Okay, this is probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks people have, when they're trying to get into real estate investing, is where do they get the money? And we've all seen on late night TV on how you don't need any money to buy properties and all of that, but the fact is a lot of times you do need money. It doesn't have to be your money though, which we're going to talk about right now. Let's face it, you can get money from, you can go to a bank, you go to what we call hard money lenders.
What's a hard money lender, Glen?
A hard money lender is usually a group or an institution,
individuals sometimes too, right?
Individuals, anyone that lends money to real estate investors. But the difference is, the reason why they're called hard, it's not hard to get. It's hard money because it's expensive. Okay, but it's like any business that you start. If you're borrowing money, you have to pay to get the money. If you don't get the money, you don't get your deal, you don't make any money. So a lot of people get hung up on that, but that's what hard money lenders are. They lend you money at high interest rates, and they usually charge you points, okay, which is a percentage of the loan. So if you borrow $100,000 and there's 5 points, it's 5%, which would be $5,000. What are some of the ways? What are some of the ways we have?
Well, you can also get money from private investors, and that's actually my favorite way to finance my deals, because with private investors you can give both debt and equity. So you can borrow money, or you can basically allow someone to be a part owner or allow them to share in the profit as well.
Good point. Do you find, and I find this when you're dealing with private lenders, it's a little bit easier to get a private lender to lend on property than if you want to get a private lender because you want to open up a type of business or a restaurant or a pizzeria or whatever it is. Private money lenders are usually a little bit more reluctant because it's a lot more riskier.
Yeah.
Right? The private lenders, when you're using their money, they're actually lending it on a physical piece of property.
That's right. And they get security normally, right? So you offer them security.
They get a mortgage. In a lot of states, you give a mortgage and a mortgage note. You're getting the property insured. Okay, inspections, so they make sure the properties are not falling down. So you can offer them a lot more protection on their funds than if someone was to just go out and lend, again, on a retail store or something. A lot more riskier. It's a lot riskier.
I find also with private investors that a lot of times they like to invest in real estate because it gives them an alternative investment. They can invest through their retirement accounts as well.
Absolutely. Great point. I mean, and
especially now with interest rates being so low, people aren't getting much high return at all.
Now, what type of interest do we pay these private money lenders?
Well, it depends on what we negotiate.
Are we getting them 3%? No, a lot more higher.
Usually getting much higher interest rates. So but usually not quite as high as with hard money.
True.
So that's why, in that sense, private investors are usually a little bit better because you're not paying as much. But really, it depends on it boils down to what you're able to negotiate, and you got to be able to provide value to.
A lot of people ask me where do we find these private money lenders, and really private money lenders is really anyone. It could be family members, friends, business associates, and what Gerald said is that they don't even realize they could use their 401k, self-directed 401ks, self-directed IRAs. The money's sitting there anyway. It's not like they have their savings account where you're asking them for $100,000. This is coming out of their retirement accounts that they can't touch it anyway, especially if they're in their 40s or 50s. They're not touching it for another 10 or 15 years. So it's a great avenue. It's a great point, by the way, on how and where to find these private lenders.
That's great. I mean, they get a higher rate of return, and they're protected.
Yeah. Are we going to cover this a little bit more in depth on some of the other ones?
We'll talk about that, and then.
Okay. So far we know how to get them: hard money lenders or private money lenders to get the money we need to buy the deals.
That's right.
Okay. We'll see you in the next set of videos.
Next time.